Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our Coffee and Conversation. And today, well, first of all, my name is Craig. I am one of your recovery coaches here. And today we're going to be talking about celebrate your progress. And let me just put this out there for everyone who ever be watching this. This is not a in-depth 12-step or a Narcotics Anonymous, nor this is not a AA meeting. However, this is a peer support group, whereas we assist those who are looking for better understanding, give them coping tools to better understand some of the ills that they may be facing and some of the challenges that they may be facing with recovery. And so we're here. I am a recovery coach. I'm not a sponsor, nor am I a counselor, therapist, or that nature. So therefore, some people may get it misconstrued that when they log on, they're looking for the 12-step structure. However, this is not that structure based. However, it does help with people navigating through some of the challenges, getting over the hurdles, some things that they may be faced while in recovery to help them prevent relapse. All right, so let's get right into it. This article is brought to you by recovery.org. And so today I'm just going to be, this is some light reading, but however, it's very important that we touch on the aspect of celebrate your progress. An article will go into depth or in details why it is important to celebrate one's progress while in recovery. So let's see what the article says. It says, as a society, we've been conditioned to hustle for our work and constantly chase the next goal or Instagram-worthy milestone. For many of us, we tend to look outside of ourselves for validation and to feel loved and worthy. This is why it's so important to acknowledge how far you come and to celebrate yourself. So this article basically letting us know the importance of us, those of us who are in recovery, the importance of encouraging ourselves, speak life into ourselves, pat ourselves on the back, over the small hurdles, or the small steps, or the small victories that we may take. So we don't have to look outside for outside sources. We don't have to listen to the noise on the outside. However, we can pay attention to our inner self-worth. It says, when it comes to binge eating and body image issues, the journey to recovery is no easy feat. The journey is often long and hard. Most people struggle with disordered eating for years and years. So to be able to overcome it and experience life-changing healing and transformation doesn't happen overnight. Whether you've been on your recovery journey for quite some time, or you're just a couple of months into it. All right. And so this is many aspects of recovery, whether you're a binge eater, whether you're a person who struggles with alcohol, a person who struggles with drugs, a person who may be struggling with anger issues, a person who may be struggling with gambling. There are so many addictions that people are facing today. However, we just want to touch on just briefly about the progress that one makes and to celebrate it. And so we want to take a moment to acknowledge the work and commitment it has taken you to come this far. All right? We just want to take a moment to acknowledge the work and commitment it has taken you to come this far. All right? It says, when you got real with yourself and your situation, you decided that you weren't going to settle for struggle and pain anymore, and you did something about it. That is an incredible accomplishment, and it deserves to be acknowledged. On the flip side of this celebration and success, part of you may always feel like you're still working toward the finish line. But recovery is about progress and intention, not perfection. The truth is that none of us are perfect. Let me say that again. The truth is that none of us are perfect, and we all mess up. A great way to support your recovery is to focus on your progress, not being perfect. All right? A great way to start off is to focus on your recovery, your progress, and not being perfect. All right? If you struggle with binge eating and body image issues, it's likely you'll struggle with a perfectionist mindset. When you seek perfection, you tend to look at the world in a very all or nothing, black or white way. That's why you struggle with food for so long. If you didn't follow the rules to a T, you were a failure and you probably tipped from one end of the scale to the other. That's why it's called the diet binge cycle. At the core of that cycle is the intention of being perfect. All right? It says perfection does exist. It is just a means of external validation. Perfection doesn't exist. It is just a means of external validation. So many people are codependent on others to define and express their worth and lovability because they think they cannot provide that for themselves. And however, the truth is that each and every one of us is fully capable of cultivating validation, worthiness, and love from within. In fact, doing so is so far powerful than seeking those things from someone else. At the end of the day, if your relationship with yourself is broken, it will negatively impact every area of your life, including recovery. And so, whether you're drinking alcohol, whether you're using drugs, look for something within yourself while you're in the stage of recovery, after you come out of detox, residential treatment, whether you're in IOP, you early on recovery, or you long-term recovery. Always do an assessment of yourself and think about how far you have gained ground over your previous addiction. Okay? And so that can be from eating, gambling, alcohol, or drugs, whatever addiction that you may be struggling with. Take note of the small victories that you have accomplished already. And remember, we're all not perfect. We're going to mess up. We may relapse. We may fall down. The goal is to pick yourself up and know that you're not a failure. You just have made the wrong mistake or choosing the wrong choices in life. I know this from firsthand experience, Article says. For years, I thought that I had a food addiction or an alcohol addiction. I struggled with, the article says, binge eating and hating my body. And it wasn't until I dove into deeper work behind my issues that I realized it wasn't about the food at all. I didn't have a food problem. I had a self-love problem. And that also applies to drugs and alcohol. You know, a lot of times we may have a self-love problem. Nothing I have did felt good enough because I was so critical of myself. All right. And so no progress or win was ever acknowledged because I was always striving to be better than someone else. On the other side of my journey, I am now so intentional about my relationship to myself and honoring myself. I celebrate the wins with my failures. All right. So we encourage you today, if you are in recovery and that you're just coming out of a detox or residential treatment, we celebrate you today. And so On the other side of the journey, we want to let you know that we celebrate the wins with you and the failures because lesson can be found in both. The new relationship I have with myself is the foundation of my recovery. Nice, nice. There are various ways that you can start to acknowledge yourself and celebrate your progress and journey. Here are a few suggestions. And so here's a small, brief exercise that you can take. You can start the process. These are some tools that we thought that it would be interesting to do. And I think there are like 3 of them. They're short, great, to the point, but they are something that you can begin to exercise and utilize these tools in your recovery journey. Remember, this is our coffee and conversation hour meeting, and so we advise all those who are in the community, if you're struggling with any substance, whatever addiction that you may be struggling with, please feel free to contact us here at Capital Recovery Center, and we will do all we can to help you with those issues that you may be struggling with so that you get back on a healthier you. So the first tool that we want to talk about and that you can utilize, and I think is very important, that is journal about your progress. All right? It says take some time at least once a week to sit down and write about your recent wins and progress. What did you do really well this week? What was a difficult situation that you overcame? How far have you come now compared to where you were this time a year ago? All right. So this is talking about the journal, about your progress. These are some tools that you can utilize. And they are some very important tools because one thing about journaling, you may write down something today and a year from now, or maybe a month from now, or maybe a week from now, you may go back and you can look back on it and say, wow, I really did that thing. I really did overcome this hurdle or this obstacle that I thought I couldn't overcome or achieve. And so we want you to try these exercises. And the first one we just talked about is journaling, all right? And the second one we want to talk about, and that is create a progress memory jar. Simple. These are some simple exercises that you can do. You can do alone. You can invite someone to the challenge. You can invite your sponsor or your counselor, or you can invite a family or friend and let them know. Say, hey, I'm doing these exercises to help me in my recovery process. And one of them, the first one we just talked about, is journaling. Now, the second one, we want to create a progress memory jar. All right. And it don't have to be a memory jar. It can be a poster. It can be what they call those boards. It could be a board that you put up in your house, whereas you can put nice stickies and pictures and as reminders of how far you came along. And so this one says create a memory jar and say decorate a mason jar and get some cute posts as notes or stationery to go with it. Each time you have a win, make progress, or do something worthy of acknowledgement, write it down. So it says decorate a mason jar and get some cute posts, its notes, or stationery to go with it. Each time you have a win, make progress, or do something worthy of acknowledgement. The article says write it down, date it, put it in your memory jar, every few months or a year. If you want to make it extra special, sit down and read through all of the notes in your jar. How exciting is that? Where you can just sit down, you could take little sticky pads, little sticky notes, write it down, the date that you accomplished a victory, a small victory. It don't have to be super large, because a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves, just looking to achieve the bigger goals, and we fail to mention or take notes of the small goals. And so write those down, whether they're small or large. Write it down, make a note of it, put a date on it, put it in your jar, and then come back to it a few months later or a year, and just sit down and open and read it, and you'll be surprised how far you have come, or how far you have developed, or how far you have grown in your recovery process. All right, this is a process. This is not a one trick pony. This is a process where people really go step by step at working on their recovery, whether it be small goals, mid-sized range goals, or large goals. However, take a note of them and celebrate them. And the last exercise tool we want to talk about is communicate your progress. Give yourself a shout out. Pick yourself up. You know what I mean? Celebrate yourself. Whether it's on a social media or while chatting with a friend, speak your win out loud. There is no better what to celebrate yourself than to share it with others who can also celebrate your progress. Wow. It's to give yourself a shout out, put it on social media. Be proud about your victories. Don't hold it within. Don't keep it to yourself. Let everyone know. And because a lot of times people who really, really care for you, who genuinely love you, who genuinely support you, who genuinely cheerlead for you, who genuinely encourage you, you'll be amazed how much supporters that you really do have. And those who don't worry about those who don't celebrate you, because you don't need negativity in your life if they don't, whether it's spoken or unspoken. You just always concentrate on the positive. All right. So there are 3 tools that we just went over. The first one was journaling. The second one was to create a progress memory jar. And the last one, as we see on top of the screen, communicate your progress. And so in conclusion, we want to go and talk about the conclusion. It says, through your recovery, you are literally living a new life. Let me read that again. Through your recovery, you are literally living a new life. You have moved through old destructive patterns and mindsets. You are showing up as a better version of yourself day in and day out. This is truly amazing and something that deserves to be celebrated. All right. And so I'm hoping that as I'm reading this information, that you are inspired, you are encouraged, you are looking to celebrate the new you. All right. Just like starting any other new habit, be cognizant, be mindful of really setting aside some time daily to stop and appreciate yourself and all you've done. Getting to this habit and creating a well of self-inspiration and celebration to pull from will not only aid your recovery, it will support you in the moments when you feel like giving up and falling back into old habits. There's no better way to move through struggle than to be aware of how you have done so before. You got this. Remember, you got this. All right. And so I hope this information has been not only challenging, but inspiring to let you know that you are capable and you are strong enough to overcome whether small victories or big victories. You have the willpower and the know-how. And always remember to build upon your strong points, the things that you do naturally that come easily. Build upon those and then begin to challenge yourself to some new goals and see how, if you stick with it and you work at it hard enough, you will be able to overcome the things that you thought was hard. It will now become easy. All right. And so remember, celebrate your progress and always encourage yourself and give yourself a shout out to the small victories and also the big ones as well. That's it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed this little segment, this information, because we want you to be encouraged and be successful at the same time. See you next time. My name is Craig, one of your Capital Recovery Center recovery coaches. Take care.